If you're watching this, make sure to subscribe, because today's story is one of the most shocking courtroom transformations you'll ever witness. A story that begins with pure arrogance and ends with a lesson this world desperately needs. This is the story of Ethan Cole, a 17-year-old rich teen who walked into Judge Caprio's courtroom with a smirk that could cut glass. A boy raised not on kindness or humility, but on influence, entitlement, and a belief that rules were written for everyone except him. The teen who thought he owned the world. People in the courtroom noticed him the moment he entered. His shoes alone probably cost more than someone's monthly rent. Red designer jacket unzipped, showing a spotless white shirt underneath. Black sunglasses, indoors. Hairstyled like he woke up in a music video. He didn't walk in quietly. He walked in like a celebrity who expected applause. Two students whispered in the back. "Who even is this kid?" "I think he's that real estate tycoon's son, the guy who owns half the waterfront." And they were right. Ethan Cole, only child of billionaire developer Marcus Cole, a man known for his money and his ego. But Ethan didn't just inherit wealth. He inherited arrogance at the incident that brought him here. 3 days earlier, Ethan's Ferrari had been caught on traffic cameras speeding through a school zone, nearly clipping an elderly crossing guard. That guard was Mr. Oliver Grant, a 72-year-old Vietnam veteran who volunteered at the school to stay useful, as he liked to say. When Ethan screeched past him, Mr. Grant had to jump back to avoid being hit. Ethan didn't stop. He didn't apologize. He didn't even look back. Later, when police visited the Cole mansion to issue the ticket, Ethan said just 3 chilling words. "Do you know who my father is?" That attitude is exactly why this moment in Caprio's courtroom was about to become unforgettable. The courtroom energy changes. When Ethan's name was called, he didn't rise. He waited. He made the judge wait for him. Finally, he stood, stretched lazily, and swaggered forward like the courtroom aisle was a runway. Judge Caprio watched him approach, calm, observant, almost amused. Ethan stopped in front of the bench, then tilted his sunglasses down just enough to reveal his eyes. "Let's get this over with," he muttered. A murmur rippled through the room. Caprio lifted an eyebrow. He had seen confidence. He had seen fear. He had even seen defiance. But this was pure disrespect. "State your name." Judge Caprio began, voice steady. "Good morning. Please state your name." Ethan didn't even look up. "Ethan Cole," he said, with a tone that implied the judge should already know. Caprio leaned forward. "Well, Mr. Cole, you're here for a school zone violation. 35 and a 20. And according to the incident report, you nearly hit a volunteer guard." Ethan shrugged. It was early. He was slow. "Not my problem." The courtroom gasped. One woman whispered, "That kid needs help." Another whispered back, "No, he needs consequences." The video plays. Judge Caprio ordered the traffic footage to be shown. On the screen, a crossing guard stepping onto the road, children waiting to cross, and Ethan's red Ferrari slicing past like a bullet. Ethan didn't flinch, didn't shift, didn't show an ounce of remorse. He just checked his nails. Caprio watched him carefully. "You almost hit a man." Judge Caprio's tone grew firm. "Mr. Cole, that man is 72. A veteran. A grandfather. A volunteer who gives his time to protect children. You sped past him like he didn't exist." Ethan smirked. "I mean, he didn't get hit, right? So we're good." Caprio's courtroom froze. There were no words. Only disappointment. Enter Mr. Grant, the veteran. Just then, the door opened. Mr. Oliver Grant, silver hair, walking cane, gentle posture, stepped inside. He had come because he wanted to make sure the boy understood what really happened. Ethan rolled his eyes. "Oh great, the old guy." Caprio's jaw tightened. But Mr. Grant didn't show anger. He showed grace. He slowly approached and said, "Your Honor, I don't want to punish the boy. I just want him to understand that speeding through children is no small thing." The room softened. Everyone expected Ethan to apologize. But instead, Ethan scoffed. "Why is he even talking? This is between me and the court." Mr. Grant's eyes dimmed, not with anger, but with sadness. He whispered, "Son, someday you'll learn. I only hope no one gets hurt in the meantime." Judge Caprio sees the real problem. At that moment, Judge Caprio finally understood. Ethan wasn't dangerous because he was reckless. He was dangerous because no one had ever taught him empathy. Caprio removed his glasses, folded them gently, and leaned forward. Mr. Cole, I was going to give you a fine. But now? I'm not sure that's enough. Ethan smirked again. Doesn't matter. My dad will pay. Caprio nodded slowly. That's exactly the problem. The entire courtroom went silent. Not even the heir dared to move. Because everyone knew. Judge Caprio was about to make this case unforgettable. The courtroom seemed to shrink around Ethan Cole as Judge Caprio leaned forward, hands folded, eyes calm yet penetrating. It wasn't anger. It wasn't frustration. It was something far more unsettling for someone like Ethan. Disappointment. And Ethan could feel it. He straightened up, trying to smother the uncomfortable tightening in his chest with arrogance. But the room had shifted. Everyone knew it. Everyone felt it. Do you think the law doesn't apply to you? Judge Caprio began softly, the kind of softness that carries more weight than shouting. Mr. Cole, you speak as though you're above the rules. As though consequences are optional for people with money. Ethan flashed an irritated half-smile. Well, aren't they? A quiet gasp spread across the benches. A student whispered to her friend. He didn't just say that. He seriously needs help. But Ethan wasn't done. He leaned his elbow on the podium, tilting slightly forward. To be honest, Judge, these tickets? These fines? They're pointless. Dad pays. I live my life. The world moves on. Judge Caprio tapped a finger lightly on his desk. And what if one day, your actions cost more than money? Ethan shrugged. That's future me's problem. Mr. Grant looked down at his cane, visibly hurt. Judge Caprio switches tone. For the first time, Caprio's voice sharpened. Mr. Cole, your lack of remorse is deeply troubling. Ethan lifted a brow. It's a speeding ticket, not a murder. The judge didn't blink. No, but your attitude could one day lead to something far worse. A dramatic pause swept the courtroom. Caprio continued. Tell me, Mr. Cole, have you always spoken this way to adults? Ethan scoffed. Adults don't exactly impress me, especially ones who try to lecture me. Caprio exhaled. Spoken like someone who has never been told no in his life. The court learns about Ethan's past. Judge Caprio flipped through Ethan's file, not because he hadn't read it, but because he wanted Ethan to watch. Let's see. 2 previous speeding warnings, 1 citation for reckless parking, and this latest one, speeding through a school zone at nearly double the limit. Ethan waved dismissively. Old news. Can we move on? But Caprio wasn't finished. There's also a note here, from officers who went to deliver the ticket. You told them, do you know who my father is? Ethan smirked proudly. Well, you do know, right? No, Caprio said calmly. And I don't care. The courtroom burst into soft murmurs. Ethan visibly clenched his jaw. Mr. Grant steps forward again. Mr. Oliver Grant, the 72-year-old veteran, took a step forward, slow, steady, humble. Your Honor, may I say something? Caprio nodded. Ethan sighed loudly. Seriously? Mr. Grant turned to Ethan, not with anger, but with heartbreak. Son, some of us spent our youth fighting so people like you could have a safe country. A chance to grow up right. A chance to make something of yourself. Ethan rolled his eyes. Here comes the speech. Mr. Grant didn't flinch. When you drove past me that day, I wasn't scared for myself. I've survived worse. I was scared for the children behind me. He pointed gently toward the courtroom benches. The smallest choices you make have the power to destroy someone's entire world. Ethan stared back, arms crossed. Okay, can I go now? The courtroom turns against him. A mother sitting behind whispered. I hope Judge Caprio does something big. That kid needs a wake-up call. Another man whispered. He's going to hurt someone someday, if nobody stops him. Ethan turned sharply. Mind your own business. Judge Caprio slammed his gavel once. Not loud, just enough to command attention. Mr. Cole, you will not address other people in this courtroom. Ethan scoffed. Then make them stop staring. Caprio leaned back. They're staring because your behavior demands attention. The unexpected witness. The courtroom door creaked open again. This time, a tall, clean-cut man in uniform entered. Officer Ramirez, the same officer who had delivered the ticket to Ethan's home. Ethan froze. What is he doing here? Officer Ramirez addressed the judge. Your Honor, I came because I felt you needed to know what happened that day. Ethan's eyes widened. No, he's lying. He has it out for me. Ramirez continued. When I handed Mr. Cole the citation, he took it, looked at it, then tore it up in front of me. Gasps erupted everywhere. And when I told him destroying it wouldn't void the fine, Ramirez added. He stepped closer to me and said. The officer paused. My father could buy your whole department. Ethan slammed a hand on the podium. That's out of context. No, Ramirez said calmly. It's exactly what happened. Caprio's eyes hardened. Judge Caprio slowly closed the file. This time, there was no gentle tone. Mr. Cole, your behavior is escalating. And arrogance as severe as yours is dangerous. Ethan started to panic. But I didn't hit anyone. And this whole thing is blown out of. Caprio held up a hand. This isn't about the ticket anymore. This is about your character. The room went impossibly quiet. Ethan swallowed hard. For the first time, his confidence wavered. The turning point. Caprio spoke with precision. I've dealt with thousands of cases, Mr. Cole. People from all walks of life. And I've learned one thing. Money can buy many things, but not maturity. Ethan stared down at the podium. Caprio continued. You're 17. You're at the age where good choices can set your life up for success, or bad ones can destroy it. Ethan didn't respond. Caprio leaned in. So here's what we're going to do. Ethan looked up sharply. This was it. The moment. The courtroom held its breath. The air inside the courtroom thickened as Judge Caprio folded his hands, resting them calmly on the bench. Ethan Cole's cocky smirk had faded, replaced with something he'd never shown until today. Uncertainty. Caprio took a slow breath, the kind he only used when preparing to deliver a judgment with purpose, not punishment. Mr. Cole, he said softly, before I decide anything, I want you to understand exactly where you stand. Ethan shifted nervously. The entire courtroom leaned in. This isn't about a ticket anymore. Judge Caprio continued. This courtroom has seen people who made mistakes, people who caused accidents, people who cried, apologized, or even denied everything. He paused. But you, Mr. Cole, you stand out because you show no remorse. That concerns me more than the violation itself. Ethan swallowed, throat dry. Caprio's voice grew firmer. You live in a world where accountability is optional, where your father's name shields you from consequences. But not today. Not here. Ethan clenched his jaw. With all due respect, Judge, my dad. Caprio held up a hand. This is not about your father. The courtroom buzzed softly. This is about the fact, Caprio said, that you put children at risk and found it amusing. Ethan looked away, annoyed, but no longer bold enough to interrupt. The judge does something unexpected. Judge Caprio turned deliberately and looked directly at Mr. Oliver Grant. The 72-year-old veteran Ethan almost hit. Mr. Grant, Caprio said gently, you mentioned earlier that you didn't want to punish the boy, but I need to ask, what would help him understand the gravity of what he did? Mr. Grant blinked, surprised. Everyone else was stunned too. Even Ethan raised his head, taken off guard. The veteran took a few quiet steps closer. I just want him to realize life isn't about what you own. It's about who you help. Caprio nodded. And do you think he understands that? Mr. Grant looked at Ethan, not with anger, but with hope. A soft, weathered hope. No, Your Honor, he said. But he can. Those 3 words, but he can, hung in the air like a lifeline. The courtroom lightens. For a moment, Caprio nodded thoughtfully and turned back to Ethan. Did you hear that, Mr. Cole? This man, who you nearly harmed, believes you can change. Ethan rolled his shoulders uncomfortably. Good for him, he muttered. A woman in the back gasped. Caprio tightened his lips. Mr. Cole, look at me. Ethan didn't. Look at me. Slowly, Ethan lifted his eyes. You have 2 paths before you, the judge said. And today, you will choose one, whether you realize it or not. The court hears from the officer. Officer Ramirez stepped forward. Your Honor, may I add something? Caprio nodded. Ramirez looked directly at Ethan. When I went to your home, he said, I didn't know who your father was. I didn't care. All I saw was a kid destroying a citation and insulting me. Ethan smirked slightly. The officer continued. But what bothered me wasn't what you said. It was the way you said it. Like you've never respected anyone in uniform. Ethan rolled his eyes. Oh, please. I respect people who deserve it. Ramirez didn't flinch. Respect isn't a prize you give. It's a value you live with. The room hummed with agreement. For the first time, Ethan looked uneasy, actually uneasy. The judge calls for real accountability. Judge Caprio tapped the bench thoughtfully. Mr. Cole, You stand before me not because of your wealth, but because of the threat you pose when you forget you're not the only person on the road, or the only person who matters. Ethan crossed his arms tight. And what? You gonna lecture me until I magically care? Caprio leaned forward. I'm going to do something much harder than lecturing you. Ethan's eyebrows shot up. What's that supposed to? Caprio cut him off. I'm going to hold you accountable in a way your father never has. The courtroom erupted in whispers. Ethan's heart skipped. For the first time, he felt something foreign. Fear. The sentence, unlike any other. Judge Caprio straightened his posture. Mr. Cole, I am ordering the following. Ethan tensed. 1. You will attend a mandatory driver responsibility course, not a private one. A public one, with offenders from every walk of life. Ethan laughed sarcastically. You think I care about sitting in a room with? Caprio's gaze shut him down instantly. 2. You will spend 50 hours volunteering under the supervision of Mr. Grant, assisting him at the school crossing. Gasps filled the courtroom. Mr. Grant blinked. Ethan's mouth fell open. You're kidding. I am not, Caprio said. You will show up every morning and do exactly what he does. Ethan stood straighter, ready to explode. This is ridiculous. You can't just. And 3. Caprio continued, firm as iron. You will write a formal apology, not only to Mr. Grant, but to the families whose children you endangered. Ethan's jaw tightened so hard a muscle twitched. This is humiliating. No, Caprio said calmly. This is justice. The teen finally cracks. Ethan slammed a hand down. You don't understand. My dad. Your father is not my concern, Caprio interrupted. My dad won't allow this. Ethan barked. Caprio looked him dead in the eyes. You walked into this courtroom believing money makes you untouchable. But here, it makes you accountable. The courtroom applauded softly, not loud, but enough to make Ethan turn red with humiliation. Ethan's voice cracked. You can't do this to me. Caprio remained unmoved. I already have. The veteran approaches. Mr. Grant stepped up hesitantly. He placed a gentle hand on the podium. Son, I know you think this is punishment, but it might be the best thing that ever happens to you. Ethan jerked away. I don't need your advice, old man. The entire room flinched. Judge Caprio's expression darkened. Mr. Cole, he warned. But Mr. Grant lifted a hand toward the judge. It's all right, Your Honor. Then he turned to Ethan. You don't have to like me. You don't have to respect me. You don't even have to talk to me. He paused. But you will learn something, even if it takes all 50 hours. Ethan's face burned, a mix of fury and embarrassment. The judge makes one final decision. Judge Caprio glanced at the file again, then closed it decisively. Mr. Cole, court will recess for today. Ethan whispered under his breath. This isn't over. Caprio heard him. Oh, it is far from over, the judge said. Because tomorrow morning, your transformation begins. Ethan froze. What transformation? Caprio gave him the smallest, most unsettling smile Ethan had ever seen. You'll find out.